Hey, hi everyone. So we are solving the problem classify business type. It's a medium difficulty problem and we'll solve it using Python. So the problem states classify each business as a restaurant, cafe, school or other. A restaurant should have word restaurant in the name. Cafes, either of these three words, cafe, cafe or coffee in the name. School should have school in the name and anything else, any other business should be classified as other. We need to output the business name and the calculated classification. Seems like a pretty straightforward question. So just previewing the input data. So for example, this has school in the name. So it's a school. So the restaurant in the name will be classified as a restaurant and so on. Great. So let's move ahead with coding this. It seems pretty straightforward. So this is the input data frame, right? It's a pretty big name. So let me just store it in a smaller, in a data frame with a shorter name, df. Okay. The first thing I do is I need to pick up this column wherein you have the business names, which is this column, right? You have business name over here, and to this column, right, we need to apply a transformation. So how I can do that is using the apply function. So what does apply function does is it accepts a function as an input parameter. Okay, so inside apply function, I'll put in a function and it will apply that function to all the values of this particular column. Okay, so let's write that function. So I need to create a function here. I'll use the Python lambda to create the short and functions on the go. And I'll just show you also tell you what lambda does. So lambda is a short and sweet function within Python. So you write lambda, you enter the argument that you need to that you'll be passing, which is x, followed by colon, and after that you actually write the function that should be applied to x. For example, if I write here uh, x into x, which is x square, if you pass 2 over here, it will apply 2 square and return you 4. Okay, so this is the argument, this is the actual what the function would do with the argument. So over here what we need is we need to write some if else conditions. So our condition first is it's uh, school in the name, right, or it's restaurant in the name. So if you have, let's say, restaurant in the name, restaurant, it should classify it as a restaurant if you have restaurant in X. Now, if suppose you have something like, X has a value, let's say something like a restaurant in camel case. In that case, this condition would fail because this is case sensitive. We have all small cases, whereas your input could have a restaurant with R in caps. So I would apply a lower function. So even while checking to the input parameter itself, I will first convert each of that into lowercase and then only apply the if else conditions. Okay, let's apply the second condition, which says else. You see it's cafe. It's cafe, coffee. Okay, so we classify this as cafe, else cafe, if you have cafe in X converted to lowercase. There are multiple conditions here. So the other condition is you have coffee in X dot lowercase, and the third condition is or you have something. This is cafe with a with an some kind of indentation. So or this particular word is present in X. Okay, X is the input argument. The next condition is we need to check for school. So we'll classify this as school if school in X dot lowercase Okay, that's it. We don't have multiple conditions here. And we'll classify this as other in any other cases if none of these above conditions are met. Okay. Oh, this is DF business name, and let's try to so this things all of this has been applied to business name, right? But we don't want to modify the existing business name. Let's put all of that. Let's create a new column. Let's call it business type, and uh, inside that column, let's store all of these values. So it will check for the column business name. On that, it will apply this particular function. The function says wherever you have x, which is your input parameter, in x would be all of your business names, and check for these conditions that have been mentioned in our question. Okay, now let me do a quick thing. Let's run this and see whether invalid syntax. Maybe I made a typo somewhere. Business name dot apply lambda student of x dot lower else blah 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 this if or if which is correct, else if which is also looks correct, else other. Invalid syntax unknown line number 9. Okay, just trying to debug this. Df I'll create a new column, business type equals df business name dot apply. I'm just checking if I close the brackets correctly. Lambda. Oh, there's a typo in LAMBDA. This should work now. Okay, so we have business name classified. Let's do one thing. Let's create df where we list both the columns, which is our business underscore type and business underscore name. Okay, let's run this code, and there we have our answer. So this school got classified as school, restaurant as restaurant, and this doesn't have anything, so it's classified as other. Let's check the solution. And except solution values in each column. Column names and positions are ignored, but output is case sensitive. Marked rows, match rows are marked green. So let's look at the red rows. Where did we go wrong? Almost everything looks green to me. Oh, so this is my solution. Safeway store 9. This is correctly classified as other. Where could I have gone wrong, right? Safeway store other, which is correct. Okay, I get it. So there are two Safeway stores, like one is here, and so probably there are duplicate records, which is why our output does not exactly match uh, the output that the problem is solution is expecting. So I can use a drop duplicate, right? Let me just check how the drop duplicate function. So it's called drop underscore duplicates. It's a fairly simple function. And let's run this and try it again. Okay, it gives me a correct output now. So that's how you solve the problem in an interview. Probably you could get stuck, but you can always ask the interviewer for clarifications. And yep, that's it. Thank you guys.